Pride of Higara. This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shah. Looks like you could use a hand. Attention all Sobani, pick your targets and engage.
Hello everyone! Hello, this is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard to Starship Enterprise for our first official episode of Homeworld Wars using my Homeworld Cataclsym Hardcore Mod. Yes, I am officially starting to develop this and I am very excited. Because Cataclysm has a lot of things we have to work on. Doing some testing before I decide to officially start making this mod, there's a lot of balancing we have to do. There's so much balancing in Cataclysm that needs to be done, so this one's going to definitely take a really long time. But I am officially starting development of this, and it's a great way to start 2024. So, first thing I want to say, as I was doing testing, and one thing I like about Cataclysm is that you can see all the damage stuff in the actual game. I've actually finally been able to figure out how to calculate the ion cannon damage in Homeworld. Okay, one of the things I figured out about Homeworld Cataclysm and Homeworld is I finally figured out how to calculate the DPS of ion beams. And it's a little bit of a complicated formula, but I'll go ahead and go through with you guys before we actually go through, because I made a bunch of adjustments to the ion beams of all the factions since I finally figured this out. I know how to make everything unique. So basically, you take the damage of the ion, which you see right here, take that number, multiply that by 15, which is how many game frames the ion is processed per second, because it actually hits 15 times in a second. Take that, multiply it by the fire speed of the ion, which for this one is 6. Take that, and then you multiply that by percentage of the beam active, which is basically the lifetime of the beam before it has to recharge, before it has to turn off, recharge, and shoot again. So for this destroyer, that's 40%. It's active 40% of the time, 40% of 6 seconds, which is 2.4 seconds. Then you take that, divide it by the fire speed, and you get the DPS, because dividing it by the fire speed will give you how much damage it does per second. Where if you don't do that, then you'll know how much damage the beam does in a lifetime. So yeah, that was a fun formula to figure out. Excuse me. But apologize about the coughing. I just had lunch and I got too excited, so I wanted to make a video. So based off of that info, the Kushan destroyer has a fire speed of 6 on its ions, a beam lifetime of 2.4. It does 26 damage with the ions. So doing all of that calculation, it does 155 DPS per ion. That's how I have the Kushan set up. And now the Titan and Som Taaw and the Tyrannic Raider carriers, I've adjusted them a little bit just to give them a little bit of a variety. So Titan will do 32 damage with their beams, but they have a fire speed of 8, a fire ion lifetime of 2.8, which means they have their beams activated for 35% of the time. So they're off for 5.2 seconds, giving them a DPS of about 170. So their ions are a little bit more powerful than the Kushan, but they do more damage when the ion is actually active. In the Som Taaw, they do 24 damage. They have a fire speed of 5 and a fire lifetime of the beam of 2.25 seconds, which means 2.75 seconds the beam is off, giving them a lifetime of about 45% of the time. So they stay more active compared to Kushan and Titan. But overall, their DPS is 160. So it's a little bit more than Kushan, but less than Titan. So I put them in between. And Tyrannic Raider carriers have a damage of 23. They have a fire speed of 2.75 seconds, and they keep it active for 60% of the time, which this will give them a ion lifetime of 1.5, but the ion stays off for 1.25% or 1.25 seconds, giving them a total DPS of 210 on their ion beams. So Tyrannic Raider carriers are still going to be pretty powerful, and ion array frigates are going to be pretty powerful as well. Now, I haven't messed around with multi-beam frigates and stuff like that. I have to figure out a different formula of how I want them to work, so they act like pulsar beams instead of like normal ion beams. But yeah, that's been fun. That's been a fun formula to mess around and play around with. But what I'm planning on doing for what I'm planning on doing for the Cataclysm Hardcore series, as I continue testing ships and balancing them out, we'll have the ships fight each other and do like a Homeworld Wars style battle just to see how well they do, and so I can show off and test the adjustments that I've currently done into the game. Because I've adjusted the Kushan Destroyer, the Som Taaw Destroyer, the Som Taaw Dreadnought, the Kushan Heavy Cruiser, and the Tyrannic Raider Carrier I believe I've adjusted, and the Bentusi I've also adjusted as well.
Online. Roger, command.
So as you can see, the Bentusi have 4 million health, and they do 72 damage per ion beam, which, if I remember the calculation from Homeworld 1, the beams did 60 DPS per ion beam, averaging it out to 6,000 DPS, which makes this very easy to figure out. They do 7,200 DPS. Yeah, don't mess with the Bentusi. They are no joke. That's going to make Mission 15 so interesting when we have to fight these guys set to the way I have them. I'm so looking forward to testing that when eventually we get there. Right now we're focusing on balancing out the ships, and then I'll focus on balancing out the economy, and then balancing out the motherships and stuff like that. We have a long way to go, so it's going to be very long before this mod is actually available for the public. But anyways, we've been talking for literally 10 minutes and we haven't done a single thing, so
Ready to go.
let's actually get into this. So what I want to do is a one-on-one battle between the Kushan Destroyer and the Som Taaw Destroyer. I'll talk a little bit about my adjustments before we actually get into the battle. But Cataclysm does not like having large-scale battles like Homeworld 1 does. By that, I mean like some of the ships will use like one of their guns because they're trying to shoot something over here, but they don't want to target it for some reason, so they'll only use one of their guns in the ship in front of them. And so because of that, I'm probably going to do one-on-one battles so that we can see how the adjustments look and see how the ships look like when they're, using everything they're supposed to. And then we'll do like full-scale battles. And then I'm just going to let them do what they want to do. If they all use their guns, they all use their guns. I'm not really going to make a whole lot of adjustments. So let's get into this. So Kushan Destroyer. In Homeworld, in the original hardcore mod, I gave them 275,000 health, and I think I gave them about 385 DPS altogether. Most of that was the ion cannons. So I kind of kept that same. I boosted their DPS up a little bit because this ship has been out in development for 10 years. I would assume by now that they would have some armor and they would have some weapon improvements for it. So ions do 155 DPS each, so that's 310 DPS with the ions. The projectile cannons do 190 damage per hit, but they have attack speed of 4.5, and they also have some physics behind them. So just like in my hardcore mod, in my original hardcore mod, if you have a lot of destroyers fighting frigates, they could push them around if you had enough kinetic cannons going off. And I plan to keep doing that for the rest of the ships. And if you upgrade this to energy weapons, this will double. They'll have 380 DPS, or 380 damage per projectile, so do keep that in mind. I've tried to balance these ships out so they're not like inferior to Som Taaw and all that. They're actually still a threat, and they can be used throughout the campaign if you really need to. So that being said, let's take a look at the...
Let's go.
Oh my god. The Som Taaw Destroyer, which I am going to move out of the way because that is hurting my ears. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. Now it's not so loud. So the Som Taaw Destroyers have 245,000 health, so they have less health than the Kushan Destroyer. But they do 24 DPS with their ions. Like I said, they use their ions more frequently, so this is actually 160 DPS, despite the fact they do less DPS or damage per hit. They have 4 projectiles, which I adjusted to do 55 damage. I believe they shoot every 3.5 seconds because they're smaller than the large ones. They also have less physical impact than the other ones. So this Som Taaw Destroyer, we have a harder time pushing ships around than the Kushan, which makes sense. They don't do as much damage, so they shouldn't have as much physical impact. The missiles, I believe, do 30 damage per missile rack. They also shoot every second, so they have a rapid fire attack. And I've adjusted the regeneration rate to the point to where they can use their missiles all the time. Because that was the one thing about destroyers that always kind of confused me, because they didn't do a whole lot of damage with the missiles, but you didn't have a whole lot of missiles to shoot. So I'm just like, why? If we're gonna have a missile rack, we should make it useful. So yeah, this gives it some anti-strike craft defenses as well. So this Som Taaw destroyer is definitely multi-role. It's got powerful kinetic cannons to help against frigates, ion beams to help against super capitals, and concussion missile launcher to help against strike craft. So overall, the Kushan, or the Som Taaw destroyer, isn't great against anything, but it also isn't bad against anything. Where the Kushan destroyer is anti-frigate.
Receiving.
Anti-frigate, it has high armor to last within against other super capitals. All right, well that's enough to explaining about things about what's going on. For those of you that are curious of why I gave the super capital so much health, I did this in my original mod, and this is so that battles last longer. So if you get ambushed, you have some time to react instead of just getting completely overwhelmed. So you can have time to like send in or hyperspace in some reinforcements to help out, or to maneuver around so that they're not killing your engines and whatnot. You do have the weaknesses just like in Homeworld 1, so if they attack your engines, you're still going to take, I think, 75% more damage, which will kill you pretty quickly, even with my higher armor values. Let's get these guys over here.
Let's do this. Heading out.
So that we're away from all this, so the game stops lagging. Those are all the ships I've spawned in that I've been messing around with. There's frigates in the background
Roger,
too.
command.
Don't worry about those.
Now.
I'm on it. Fire up the engines.
Fire up the engines. All right.
Ready to go.
Let's get these ships to look at each other, and
Coordinates locked in.
we will do some battle. Now, hopefully these two should be basically balanced. I'm hoping. If not, they should be like a couple percentage off, but they should be very, very close to each other.
Move out. I never liked you much anyways.
Online. Be advised. Ready.
All right, here we go. 1 versus 1. Kushan. Oh my god, it feels a little loud. Yeah, let's turn that down a little bit. There we go. All right.
Let's do this.
Yeah, so this one's at 97%. This one's 97% as well. You make sure you're using all of your guns. You're using 3 of your guns. You're supposed to be using all of your guns.
Powering down weapons.
Let's go. Let's ride.
So let's quickly change this over. I have adjusted these 2 turrets down at the bottom to rotate all the way around so they can engage in things in front of them. So now all 4 of the turrets can actually fight. Because apparently these 2 are only set to fight things behind you, which is interesting.
I never liked you much anyways.
Ready to go. Be advised.
Now, yep, there we go. Now they're all turning around. So now we're good to go. Those are fitting. These ones are going as well. Good, good. Missile racks are going like crazy, and ion beams are being used. Awesome.
Online.
Ready to move out.
Receiving.
We're still 92% on both the ships,
Let's do this.
Receiving.
which is fantastic. I want to change the sound effect of the large cannons to be more like Homeworld 1, but I haven't quite figured out how to extract that. I've tried around with a couple extractors, but they either corrupt the file or they're just like, I don't know what this is. So, I don't know, I have to do more research on that. I do love the Kushan destroyer. This is probably one of my favorite ships in Homeworld. Especially since the bridge is right here. So just imagine like seeing all this firepower going off. Although it'd be kind of hard to see things because of this giant turret in front of you. But still. I love the design of the Kushan destroyer. It's so simple yet effective.
Let's go.
How are we doing? 84%?
Ready to go.
83, 83. They're like literally neck and neck right now, which is awesome. That means they're nice and balanced.
Roger, command.
Roger, command. Alright, let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Let's see how this goes. See how they're balanced when their health gets a little bit lower. Okay, you're at 70%. You're at 71. So the Som Taaw destroyer is staying alive a little bit longer than the Kushan, but still, as long as it's within like a couple percentage, like 5% at the most, it'll be perfect. Because there's always a margin of error when it comes to like weapons and whatnot. They'll make it just a little bit off. It doesn't have to be 100% balanced.
Unlikely.
Alright, speed up a little bit more. Let's get it down to 55% and then check. There we go.
Ready to move out.
Okay, yeah, so the Som Taaw destroyer definitely is surviving a little bit better than the Kushan destroyer. Good to know.
Let's do this.
I do like how the Som Taaw destroyer is just a giant, like, platform of weapons. It's so cool. Is the Kushan or the Som Taaw's destroyer? Oh yeah, the bridge and the Som Taaw is like right in the middle. Indeed.
Receiving.
Alright, let's let the battle keep going. Let's get down to 40% health. Oh, and just like my hardcore mod, I did disable, at least I think I disabled repaired in combat. I'm planning to make it to where the Som Taaw, I might even do Taidan and Kushan as well. Make it to where they repair themselves out of combat? Or no, I might make Kushan and Taidan be like the original mod, where they don't repair themselves at all, but make it to where Som Taaw can repair themselves in combat. I think that's what I might do. Ooh, yeah, there's a big difference going on right now. But as you can see, as they take less damage, or take more damage, their attack speed drops. So the missiles are no longer shooting like once every second. The ion beams are taking a long time to shoot.
Ready to go.
One of the cool things about Cataclysm I actually like, it kind of simulates that the fact that the ship is severely damaged, it can barely defend itself, so you need to like heal it and help it out. Alright, let's get down to 20%. See where we're at.
I'm on it.
And we're 28% on the Som Taaw. I may have to reduce their projectile damage by 5 to bring them down to 50 for all the projectiles. I think I've made it 55 for a reason, and I don't quite remember.
Online.
I definitely want
Let's do this.
both of these to be pretty balanced. So you will be 110 on projectiles when he upgrades.
Online.
Let's go.
Roger, command.
Alright, let's get down to 5%, see what happens. I think if I remember, I had these guys balanced, but that was before I realized that these turrets down here at the bottom weren't rotated. They weren't actually helping out. So I think I haven't balanced it out since now I got those turrets working.
Ready to go.
Let's get you down to 5% and see how you're doing.
I'm on it.
Yeah, 17%. That's too much.
Receiving.
Okay. Boop. And he is dead.
Commandeered ship destroyed.
Ready to move out.
Okay, so he has survived with 14% health. Okay. So yeah, we need to bring the projectiles down just a little bit. Like maybe down to 52. Probably doesn't have to be 50. Because I think I had it 55 for a reason.
Battle wagon ready.
I think it was to make it different than the dreadnought, but don't really know for sure. Okay, now let's do a battle with
Ready to go.
all of the destroyers
Moving out.
fighting each other. We know that the Som Taaw
Let's
destroyer
do this.
has an advantage,
Heading out.
but let's see if they actually use all of their weapons the way they're supposed to, even though they probably won't.
Fire up the engines.
Let's make you guys group
Setting
1.
assigned group 1.
Let's go.
You can join if you want, buddy.
Roger, Command. Underway.
We're just gonna tell these ships to kill each other.
Let's do this.
See what the heck happens. Boop.
I never liked you much anyways.
Receiving.
And boop.
Be advised. Friendly.
Here we go. Be advised, that's a friendly. You boys are group
Setting
1.
assigned group 1.
You boys are group 2.
Setting assigned group 2.
Let's watch the carnage together. Yeah, I'll probably reduce the projectiles of the Som Taaw down to like 52, just weaken them a little bit. I think that'd be fine. It is cool watching all the missiles fly around, even though there's not a whole lot of missiles going on. Because again, they don't want to use all of their weapons. So these guys are using their bottom weapons now, which is nice.
Group 1 is taking friendly fire.
Cool.
Stand by group 1.
Like how none of them, or all of them, are ignoring this one up here. It's amazing. Let's speed up a little bit as things go on.
Stand by group 2.
Speed up some more.
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire.
We do have one destroyer that is really being hit hard. He's being hit really hard. It's being concentrated by, I think, a lot of the projectiles going on.
Group 1 is taking friendly fire.
I like this. This is really cool. I think our next video, I might try balance out the Titan in this mod. Because Titan aren't going to have as much hull improvement as I gave the Kushan, but they're going to have more weapon improvement. So they're going to be a little bit more DPS focused than the
Ready to move out.
than the Kushan. So I'm excited to mess around with that.
Destroyer destroyed.
Alright, we lost one destroyer there. Not bad.
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire. Stand by
We
group
have one destroyer down here that's been taking a lot of damage from a lot of, excuse me, different projectiles. Boopity boopity boop, boopity boopity boop.
Destroyer destroyed.
Oop, we lost one on this side, and we have another one that's severely damaged. He's being heavily concentrated by a bunch of different beams.
Group 1 is taking friendly fire.
Group 7 is taking friendly fire. Doopity-doopity-doopity-doopity-doop.
Destroyer destroyed.
There goes that one. We have 11 Som Taaws left, and we still have 14 Kushans left. So again, it depends on if they actually use all their weapons or not.
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire.
Although no one is actually focusing on this one over here. Although all he's using is his missiles, and I think like one of his guns? No, he's literally just using his missiles. Wow. Conservative much?
Stand by group 1.
So many beams!
Group 1
So many
is taking
beams!
friendly fire.
Destroyer destroyed.
Ooh, yay. Killed one of the Kushan.
Stand by Group 1.
Actually, we killed... No, we killed one Kushan. We started with 14. That's right. Indeed. The Som Taaw destroyer is getting close to dying.
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire.
Destroyer destroyed.
There goes that one. Got 9 left. This guy is being heavily concentrated on, so he is not going to survive too much longer.
Stand by Group 1.
We do have a couple destroyers in the yellow, which means they have reduced DPS. So that's good.
Destroyer destroyed.
Stand by Group 1.
Another Som Taaw destroyer killed. And now we have a bunch of other Som Taaws getting hit, but it looks like they're spreading out to DPS, so the Som Taaw might be able to handle this, or their DPS is going to drastically drop as they slowly, lose their health.
Stand by Group 1.
Hey, someone is actually fighting this one. Phew, Morale. They finally realized, like, hey, there's a ship behind us killing our engines. We probably should take care of that. Oh, he's about to die. There he goes.
Destroyed.
So far, it looks like the Kushan will have
Stand by
this.
Group 1.
Although the Som Taaw won the one-on-one battle, it looks like the Kushan are going to win the group battle test.
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire.
Which I guess that makes sense because the Som Taaw have so many weapons. Like this ship has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different weapons, where the Kushan have 4, 2 ions and 2 kinetics. So it's easier for them to distribute their firepower and not be like where they just shoot their missiles like some of the Som Taaw have been doing. Like how many weapons is this guy using? He's using his bottom kinetic turrets. His bottom kinetic turret. Nope, he's using both. And I think that's it. Wow.
Stand by Group 1. Group 1 is taking friendly fire.
And they are dying quickly.
Stand by Group 2.
There are a lot of destroyers that have taken severe damage, so their DPS is decreased. But still.
Stand by Group 1.
I don't think it's going to be enough. The Som Taaw destroyers are definitely being thinned out.
Destroyer destroyed.
Report of hostiles by Group 1. Warning. Group is taking friendly fire. Stand by Group 1.
We have 1, 2, 3 Kushan destroyers in the red, or yellow, I should say. 2 of them are on fire, 2 of them are in red. This one is literally about to die.
Commandeered ship destroyed.
There we go, but we still have 12 left. Wow.
Stand by Group 2.
So maybe I'll make that adjustment? Yeah, I should definitely make that adjustment. Because when we were doing the testing, only 3 of the kinetic turrets were active, and we started winning the battle when we got the other one active. So I need to reduce their DPS just a little. Like about maybe 3. Like nothing substantial. Keep them around like 52 maybe. So many beams! So many beams!
Warning. Group is taking friendly fire. Stand by Group 1.
Are we gonna get another destroyer killed before we lose all of ours?
Stand by Group 2.
Maybe. I mean, we have a couple destroyers still at high DPS, because they haven't taken much damage.
Destroyer destroyed.
But I don't think they're gonna last that much longer.
Group 1 is taking friendly fire.
Destroyer destroyed.
Report of hostiles
There's
by Group
2, like really damaged. We have a couple focusing on them. Not with every weapon, but they are focusing on them.
Destroyed.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
1. Stand by Group 2.
And since there's less ships to go around, they're going to be using more and more of their weapons because they can focus fire on small groups like this, instead of spreading their damage everywhere. Oh boy. Oh boy, he's taking a lot of damage.
Ready to move out.
He is taking a lot of damage, even with my mod. Jeez. By the way, when we do these testing, we'll be testing with no research done whatsoever. So armor level 1 with projectiles. That way I can balance them out with that. And they might get a little bit unbalanced as you do your research. But there's not much I can do about that. I don't think there's a way I can actually make it to where energy weapons give you 50% more damage just to have double the damage. There might be a way to do that. I have to figure it out. If I can, that's an adjustment I also want to make. Because I think the double damage bonus is just way too much. Unbalances the game. And that one's dead. Oh boy. Oh boy, he's dying quickly. Oh boy. He's taking so much damage. Oh my god, that's going down so quickly. Sorry, buddy.
Destroyed.
Whew.
Stand by Group 1.
Oh my god, you live. How much health do you have? 3,000? Wow. We did not actually kill that one.
Stand by Group 1.
Alright, well, the Kushan won the group battle test. So as you can tell, since the Kushan have less weapons, they don't have to spread their weapons around multiple targets, so they end up actually using more of their weapons compared to the Kushan, or the Som Taaw, who have 8 weapons, and they try to use it for like 8 different targets, but they can't target that many for some reason. It might be something I can look into actually adjust that. But yeah, the Som Taaw lost because like some of the ships were literally like using a missile or using like 2 kinetic cannons or using one of their ions. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely gonna have to look into. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. And I will check you guys out in the next video. Until next time, this is Captain Soban signing out.
The Thaker have arrived. Emergency hyperspace procedures initiated. The mothership must survive.